Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to discuss about the single responsibility principle. In the previous video, we discussed about the what is the solid principle and what are the use of the solid principles and where we are going to use these principles and what are the benefits. So these are the key factors we covered in the last video. So if you are watching this video first time, please watch my previous video so that you will get an idea. So what are the use of using solid principles? So let's coming to the today topic. So in today we are going to discuss about the single responsibility principles. So let me open the pen. Now, in the last video, we discussed about the e-commerce app, right? So same thing, I'm taking the example here. Now, I'm working with one e-commerce website. Okay, so this is my e-commerce website. So this e-commerce website, I'm going to divide into. So first thing, so if this is the one e-commerce website, let me name it. So this is my e-commerce website. Okay, so this is my ecom website. So if you are developing this application as a single unit, so that won't be good, right? So we are going to follow the microservices architecture for developing this application. Okay, so in this case, first single responsibility uh, principle meaning, so the exact meaning is a class should have only one reason to change. What it means exactly. So before understanding that one, let me explain some theoretical concept here. Okay, now I have the e-commerce application. The e-commerce application, I'm going to divide into number of services. This is my first service. This is my second service. This is my third service. Like this, I'm going to have the multiple services. This is the single application, but I am dividing this application into multiple services. Why we are dividing this application of multiple services, that we are going to discuss now. Okay, this is the user management. User management service. Okay, this is the order. Third one is the payment. Okay, so now I'm developing one e-commerce website. That e-commerce website is containing the three service: user management service, order service, and payment service. So that means if you are talking about the only user management, what it will do, it only deals with the users information and user activities. What it means, user activities, what are the, it will deal with the only what type of operations it is going to deal with. First, user creation. Second one, uh, user login. Similarly, what type of operations those are related to the users, that will be handled by the only this service, right? Only this service, user management service. Okay. In the second one, order service. Order service will deal with the what type of operations. So it deal with the order history, order place. Okay, so whatever the orders related stuff, it is going to deal with the that related activities, only order related activities. So the second service is payment service. Payment service will deal with what type of operations, it is going to deal with the one payments. What type of payments we are going to provide, we can provide the UPI, debit, slash credit. Similarly, so if you want to provide some more operations or payment related information is going to deal with the payment service. Okay. If you see, we have the three services. Three services are working independently, like user management. If anything of the user information, it is going to deal with the user management service. If anything that is related with the order, so that is going to deal with the order service. If anything related to the payments, that is going to deal with the payment service. That means one service won't think about the other service information. That means they are running independently, right? They are not, user management service won't think about the order history or order placement. At the same time, order also won't think about the payments. Payment is won't think about the both. So that means the services, whatever the services we have, so those are not depending on the each other. So if they want to interact with if they want to interact with the, they can interact, but they won't worry about the that order history or payment, what type of payment and how they are processing. So each service is limited to those operations only. So this activity we are going to call as a single responsibility principle. Okay. So this is a service level we are dividing. At the same time, once you come with the user management, okay, once you come with the user management, here the point is not only service level. If you are working with anything, let's say an example in user management only, each class, whatever the class it is going to have, each class, it need to perform only the respective operations only, instead of the worrying about the other operations. That means it should concentrate on only one particular responsibility. Okay. Let's take an user management as a service and we'll create some classes and we'll understand. Okay. Then create one class, new class, users. Okay, I'm creating class as a users. This is my class. Here I'm creating some methods. What are the methods I'm creating? Add user, this is a one of the functionality. Okay. Update user. Okay. So I have the two operations, those are related to the user service. So here I'm giving the some logs for our best understanding. Then I'm creating the one test class for testing this. Okay. So finish it. And if I want to call this add user, what I have to do, I need to create the instance for this. We require the public static void method, right? So for testing, okay, just select this one and give the name as test and finish it. Okay. Now I need to call the add user. Okay. Add user method. So in this case I have to create the object for the users. Okay. I am creating the object for the users. Okay, I created. Then I am calling the method dot add user. Okay, let me run it. Run a Java application. Okay, you can see add user. Now once the user is created, I need to send notification to the customer. Hey, your registration is completed successfully, like that, right? So for that purpose I need to send a email notification. Okay. For sending email notification I am creating one more method, send email. Okay, send email. So if you want to send, once the user is created, then immediately I need to send email. I'm creating. Then you can run this program. You can see. So user is created, then immediately I'm sending the mail. But it is not following the single responsibility principle. Okay. So what it means, it is not following the single responsibility means the class, it is not only dealing with the users information, it is dealing with the user information. First two methods, add user, update user, first two methods are dealing with the user related information. But the second method, third method, sorry, the third method, it is dealing with the other functionality instead of the user. What is this functionality? It is dealing with the send email. So send email functionality it is dealing. But as per the single responsibility principle, what we supposed to do, if you are using any class, the class should focus on the only one responsibility. What's the responsibility? So if the class is users, then it should be focused on the add user, update user, create user, or whatever the operations those are related to the users that need to be handled here, not this one. For this purpose, what we are going to do, we are going to create one more class, new class email. Okay, so I'm going to take this method, I'm going to paste here. That means now we are following the single responsibility principle. That means my user class, it will only focus on the users information. My email class it will only focus on the send email. Okay, users class won't worry about, it won't think about the how to send the mail. Email class, it won't think about the how to create the user and update the user. That means both are working independently. So if you want to use both somewhere, what we have to do, we need to create the instance of the email service also. Okay, then let me run the program. You can see add user and send email. So that means, so if you want to do any operations in the add user, you only focus on this class. If you done any bug fix here, you need to think about the functionality testing of the email. So you can only focus on this one. Okay, so it will provide the advantages, no need to worry about the other things. If it is following the only one use case, you can only perform the testing for that respective use case only. You don't need to perform the testing for the email. So those are the benefits we will get if you follow the single responsibility principle. So if anybody want to work on the like email service, they simply open the email class, they will work for this one. Okay, they won't think about the user service. Like that, we will achieve the single responsibility principle. Let me read this one. In other words, what is single responsibility? A class should have only one reason to change. So the reason is, in our case, if we want to change the email related changes, you need to use the email class. If you want to change the user things, you have to go to the users. That means based on your responsibility, you will do the change only the respective class. You won't think about the other classes. That means the impact is very less. If you did something wrong in the users, that will affect in the only users, not in the email. Okay, in other words, a class should have only one job or responsibility. If a class is responsible for the more than one task, it will become harder to maintain and extend. Okay, if one class contains the multiple operations, it become very hard, right, to maintain. Okay, if you change if you do one change in the class, that will be definitely affecting the other things also. Okay, when multiple responses are grounded together in one class, changes to the one response to might be affect other unrelated parts of the class. That means if you done one change by mistakenly, definitely that will cause problem to the other things also. Like one class is responsible for multiple operations. That means you need to take more care to change that one. If you do something wrongly, the remaining all changes are will be affected. Okay, that means those are the three changes are tightly coupled, they are coupled tightly. So if you did one change, that will affect the remaining all change also. But if you follow the single responsibility principles, three responsibilities are divided into the three classes, you can go to the respective class to change it. Okay. So what are the benefits? Each class is focusing on a single responsibility. So based on the responsibility, you will go to the class and change that respective chain. Easier to maintain. If the logic or focusing orders are sending the emails, you can need to modify the corresponding class. Okay, better testability. You can now write a test case for the each class independently. That means if you have done the changes in the user service, that means you need to test only user service. You don't need to perform the other all testing. Okay, that will save the time. Scalability means now if you think if you are developing e-commerce application, then you have the multiple services. If you want to scale only respect to service, you can able to scale it, right? So if you develop the application in a multiple services, in case of the multiple services, so that means you can able to scale the application independently without thinking about the other services. In class levels also similar pattern it will be applied. Okay, so this is the practical explanation of the single responsibility principle. So I just take this simple example. If anybody want to see how single responsibility principle is applicable in the Spring Boot application, please comment below. So if I get the comments, then definitely I will make a video for that one also. Okay, I hope you understand the concept of the single responsibility principle. So if anybody wants these notes, please join the WhatsApp group. I will post there. You can see that one. So please subscribe to my channel.